Hey everyone, Dr. Lewis here. I want to give you a quick rundown on the Jelly Bean Community Diversity assignment because I know there's been a little bit of confusion. So let me try to help things out. So what you should have done was set up a spreadsheet similar to this one. So if you completed this assignment on Friday, you calculated first the total number of species that you have. In this case or example, it was 16. You determined how many, this number of species there were in each species group. So here for purple there were 82, root beer there were 4, and so on. Adding all of these together, the sum comes to 139, which is our I. So with that, you then put the beans back in the bag. You ran 3 different trials to determine how many runs you had in your sample. So here we had 91 in the first, 92 in the second, and 87 in the third, and we calculate the mean number of runs and we get 90. The diversity values for each one were here, and here's the mean diversity value. So to calculate this Shannon-Weiner index, what you did was you put the number of species in a column here, and to determine, you first had to determine the proportion of this species to all of the other species. So if you click here, and then here's a little trick if you don't know it. If you click up in the formula bar, it's going to tell you what you've used to calculate this value, which is the number of species divided by the total I. So you can see that we've done K3, which is this value, divided by 139. And again, we put the dollar signs up here to hold on to this 139 so it's populated all the way through the column. So at that point in time, you would then take the log. So this is the Shannon-Weiner diversity index of that. And again, you can see here that we're just using a formula, taking the log of this value and then populating it down through the cell. And then again, we take the log of this value multiplied by this value. So if we click on the formula bar, we'll see we're multiplying these two fields together and populating that all the way through to get the Shannon-Weiner index. We then multiply this by -1, or you can also take, you can see here, the absolute value of that, but basically it's multiplying it by -1. So the next question, which is where a lot of you guys were having some problem, was how do you calculate perfect evenness? And then what would be the Shannon-Weiner diversity index if you had perfect evenness in the population? So the first thing you want to do is you want to make the community perfectly even. So if we were to take the number of species here and then divide it by the total number of species, that would give us, you can see here and here, that would give us this proportion of 8.6875. So to get perfect evenness, it would mean that each of the species is represented evenly throughout the entire community. Okay, so that's the first step that you have to take. And then from there on, you simply do the same steps that you've done in the Shannon-Weiner diversity index, and then you get a new value for that. And so that should be pretty straightforward now on how to calculate perfect evenness. So that just means that each species is represented equally. Secondarily, what if we had perfect unevenness? What does that mean? So to calculate Shannon-Weiner perfect unevenness, you assign each of the species a value of 1 all the way down until you have 1 species left. And then what you do here with this last species is that you calculate, you add all of these individual species up. Let me show you this again, sorry. You add all of these individual species up, and then you subtract it from the total number of species, which was 139, and that gives us 125. So perfect unevenness means there's 1 species represented from each of these groups, and then there's 125. So it's really lopsided, so it's really uneven. And then from there, you continue on with the normal Shannon-Weiner diversity calculations, as you can see here in this formula bar. And so you can see that there is a stark difference between all the different Shannon-Weiner indices that you, or indices, sorry, that you see here. So hopefully that'll help you finish your assignment. and get you well on your way to turning this in on Monday at 5 p.m. outside of my office. Thanks so much, and good luck.